It's 10 a.m., so let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to cover. Go ahead to the next screen. My name is Terry Haggerty. I'm a counselor working for Phoenix Union High School District. I'm joined in the background by Jamie Gosling, who is the one helping produce this little production every Tuesday and Thursday. In the background too, we've got a lot of folks over at College Depot working behind the scenes to produce and to answer questions. Go ahead to the next screen. We're going to use Tuesdays and Thursdays to provide a roadmap for college admissions for all of those, or for all of you who are seniors. Our focus this fall will be on four-year college admissions, mainly because it's a little bit more challenging and there are more pieces for you to complete even after you've applied. Going from determining what your college list will be to completing your applications, maybe working on your brag sheet and letter of rec requests for your teachers, hopefully, so that you can get some scholarships. Midway in the year, we'll help you complete your federal student aid ID. And then as we hit December, we're gonna help you complete your free application for federal student aid. And some of you might also need to do an additional financial aid form called the CSS profile, which uses a system called IDOC to transfer information. We'll also talk about determining your timelines for either regular admissions or early decision or early action or single choice early action if you're thinking about attending an out-of-state school. There's a lot of things to do in fall just to get you ready, and that's not even talking about, room and board or dining plans or the stuff that's going to be more interesting to you. Okay, next screen. If you have a question about college admissions as we're going, you can go ahead and ask in the Q&A, and either a counselor from Phoenix Union or a College Depot staff member will answer immediately. We don't want you to leave this time period with questions unanswered, so someone will address your question. Next screen. During this 30 minutes on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to focus on your future. And on Tuesdays, we're going to be covering topics that have to do with going out of state to college. Thursdays are going to center around in-state colleges and universities. And it doesn't matter what your post-secondary choices are, whether you're thinking of going to a two-year community college or doing an apprenticeship or going directly into the job market. We're going to use this advisory period, certain days a week, to cover all of these topics. I will say one thing: if you're interested in applying to a military academy, not just going directly into military service, but going to an academy, definitely you need to talk to your counselor right now, because military academies are four-year universities, so they take a little bit more prep, just like four-year schools do. Next screen. So you've got a lot of choices for what you're going to do after high school. Our focus in fall is in-state and out-of-state, but I want to assure you that in the spring, we're going to cover tons of job opportunities. We'll talk about trade schools. We'll talk about our community colleges and have you do the applications. We'll talk about apprenticeship programs. That's where you get on-the-job training to learn a particular trade. And we'll also help anybody who wants to go into the military. Next screen. So if you're wondering what the next steps are in the college admissions process, from September to December on Tuesdays, we'll cover all out-of-state topics. And on Thursdays, we'll focus on in-state. Every single time we meet, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll cover scholarships. the ones that are coming up, because we want to make sure all of you have the opportunity to apply for college and to find ways to pay for it. Next screen. Our link is always posted under the teams called PXU Class of 2024. And if you go to it, you're going to see we've left you something that says Senior Advisory Link and September Calendar, and all you have to do is click on it. We want to make sure that your advisory teachers know that they can join us live at 10 a.m. on the large screen. And so any student can look at that. And it's also okay for you to tune in on your laptop, because that way you can ask questions in the Q&A, and it's okay to listen on headphones. Next screen. We want to also use this time to give announcements. So the first announcement we've got going is something that has a deadline of tomorrow. If you're interested in checking out the University of Arizona, they have something called the University of Arizona Experience. It's happening on the 9th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And there's all of these different sessions that they're running during the day. It goes from 8:30 in the morning all the way to 4 p.m. But if you went there, you would be able to check it out pretty thoroughly. There's also another one on December 2nd. Next screen. Some of you may have already applied to in-state public universities during a process called, or an event called, Liftoff to College. Others of you haven't applied yet, but it will be your turn shortly when your school or your campus does their college application campaign. In Phoenix Union, what happens is there are so many seniors that we take you through the college admissions process in waves. Some students who are intent on going to a community college might not do their application until much later in the year, and that's okay too. But after you apply, there's still a lot to do before you enroll. So we're going to use this time to keep you up to date. Next screen. So the first thing is, what happens after you submit your application? We want to give you a heads up. If you look around in your classroom, some of you may have already applied, and if so, some of you may already have an admissions or an acceptance letter. What happens is you hit that application, and depending on how early in the school year you submit your college application, you might receive something from the schools within 7 to 10 days. That's about where they're at right now. Kids seem to be getting responses back very quickly. Some of you haven't yet done the application, so we don't want you to panic. We just want you to know what's coming. Once you've submitted, you'll receive an email and an admissions packet that includes a printed letter in the mail, and you'll get access to a student portal that's electronic. We want you to keep all of these. So you might want to take a photo, use your cell phone, take a photo of your email, take a photo of the printed letter that comes, and anything they give you that allows you access to a student portal, take a picture of that. Because it's easy with all the paper that we have in our homes, it's easy to lose track of that printed letter that comes in the mail. So that's why they give it to you a couple different ways. Next screen. That printed letter from ASU will look exactly like this. This is from a student who did Liftoff to College earlier in the year, and he's already started getting back information. So at the very top, it shows a date. It will show your name, your address, your zip code and city. It will address you however you asked to be addressed in your application. It'll tell you, congratulations, you've been admitted for the fall 2024 semester. And now, if you look over in that gold box on the right side, it will assign you an ASU ID number and then an ID for ASU Write. That's the student portal that we were just talking about. You should also look at all of the information on the right side. Check the school location, that it has your major correct, that your residency is correct there, and it should also say that you are a first-time freshman. All of that should be correct. And then toward the bottom, it shows steps for you to follow to activate your My ASU account. That's the way from now on that the school will try to get hold of you or give you information. So instead of sending out a ton of mail, they will send you your packet, your acceptance packet once. You'll get this letter in the mail. But everything else after that, once they've given you this information, everything else is going to be electronic. So we need you to know that right now. Next screen. Be on the lookout for information how to get on the portal from every school you apply to. But our in-state colleges respond very quickly. This is an example of what you'll get through email. And it will say ASU account activation. It has directions how to activate your ASU Write user ID. Every school has their own version of this. It's LUI for NAU, and it's Net ID for the UofA. Next screen. For ASU, when you're logging into your ASU Write ID, you're going to use the user ID that was on that first letter, and then you're going to put in the password. You might have to create the password. If you need help with any of those steps, notice the red box at the bottom. You can visit the help center or you can call them. You're going to get somebody probably a little bit older than you are that's friendly. Their whole job in life is to help ease you into the portal. It seems like a hard step to do, but it's just kind of how you get through the door electronically. Next screen. The portal itself looks like this, and once you are a student at ASU, you can see you'll be on your My ASU portal. The home screen will have classes. It has kind of how you're progressing through your degree program. The top right, where it says priority task, those are things that you might, that the school is telling you you need to do, what your next step is. But this is what a portal looks like. It isn't just one time where you have to log onto your portal. You're going to be logging on probably twice a week as we move toward the rest of the school year. And by the time you are a student, this is where you get your grades. This is how you choose your courses. This is what shows you your course schedule and your degree progress. Everything you need is going to be on the portal. So don't fight it. You want to embrace this new way of communicating with what may be your new school. Next screen. This is what it looks like from the UofA. So this is your acceptance letter. And notice in the top right, it'll have your student ID and a PIN number. You're going to use that to log on to nextsteps.arizona.edu. And if you're wondering how I knew that, it's because it's a little bit further down in that red box. So all you have to do is follow the directions. You'll have to choose Duo Push to make your account safe. That means that you'll probably choose your phone so that anytime you're trying to access your portal or your account, something will come up on your phone that says, is this really you? And you just put in the number, pushes, and you're good. Next screen. For UofA, you're going to then create your net ID, and they have a lot of different help. You create your net ID using your student ID number and your PIN. I've covered up a student's ID number and a PIN. They've let me use this, and so that's why it has a little blue rectangle there. But it tells you how to log in, so it takes you right through the next steps. I want you to also notice something. Right here it says pay your enrollment fee now. Do not pay your enrollment fee now. It's too early. It's also non-refundable, so you don't want to waste a lot of money right now paying your enrollment fee. Eventually, every school will charge an enrollment fee, whether it's an in-state school or out-of-state, whether it's a public school or private. They're all going to charge a fee. You might apply to 10 schools or 15 schools, but eventually you're going to narrow down your choice to one school, and that is the school that you'll pay the enrollment fee to. And before you start panicking, later on you can always, if you're getting financial aid from the school in order to attend, you can roll that financial aid in to pay for your enrollment fee. Okay. Notice that the U of A has a bunch of tutorials, a bunch of tutorial videos to help you on net ID, how to use it. They're really easy. Next screen. NAU has a letter that looks like this. So at the very top, it'll say your name, your address. Over to the right, see where it says NAU ID and user ID? And then you'll look at the information here. The student is a freshman. That's correct. He or she will has selected the Flagstaff campus as the campus. They're considered a non-resident. So if you see non-resident on here and you really are an Arizona resident, that should be your clue. You've got to do something fast. But if it's a student who might be undocumented, you might want to take a look at that and make sure that the student filled that part out correctly. It should have your major down. For this student, the major is nursing. And then it will give you an NAU email. And then it'll ask you to activate your email account and password by going to nau.edu/password. You can also make a call to the Student Technology Center and then access your NAU email account. Every official bit of information that you'll get from NAU will happen through your email. All right, next screen. Once you get this information, you need to follow the directions and log on. It's to help you log in at the very beginning. It's time limited. So see where it says your NAU user ID is, and then I've blacked out the student's ID number. But notice right above that it says this code will expire. So they give you a certain amount of time. If you don't activate it fast enough, you'll get another follow-up email that looks kind of similar to it. But just notice you can always call the Student Technology Center. It's there at the bottom. And the folks who are there are just really nice. I've had a couple students already call them, and they've said they got set up, no problem. Next screen. Now, the part you're probably most interested in is about how to pay for school, because we know most of you are going to apply and many of you are going to be admitted to our in-state colleges and universities. But for you, the trickier part is, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for this? How much does a school cost? So our best advice to you is to set aside time every week to work on scholarship applications. Even if it's just a half hour or an hour a week, you're never going to regret it. Next screen. Here's the first scholarship. The Gates Scholarship is a highly selective, last dollar scholarship for outstanding minority high school seniors who are coming from low-income households. Each year, the scholarship is awarded to 300 student leaders. Phoenix Union has had several over the past few years. So you can see that the deadline is coming up on September 15th. You might find out that you've become a semifinalist in December or January. There will be finalist interviews in March, and then the selection happens in April. So they do get thousands of people responding and turning in an application. So you can always visit their website, or you can Google. I think they're putting in the Q&A what the link is, but just know for most of these things, you can also just Google the Gates Scholarship or the name of the scholarship. Next screen. So you can use the Gates Scholarship Award for any university. You could use it for an in-state school or an out-of-state school. And by last dollar scholarship, what it really means is if the school costs, say, $30,000 a year, and you have a merit scholarship that pays for all of tuition, but you don't have money for room and board or books and supplies, that's what you can use the Gates Scholarship for. Next screen. So you just need to be a high school senior from at least one of the following ethnicities: African American, American Indian, Alaska Native, Asian and Pacific Islander, and Hispanic American. You have to be Pell eligible, which means that you have to be willing to fill out the free application for federal student aid. That will happen in December. And based on that, you have to demonstrate financial need. You have to either be a U.S. citizen, a national, or permanent resident, and you have to have at least a 3.3 unweighted GPA. And you have to be planning to enroll full-time in a 4-year degree program. So this one you wouldn't use for community college. It's strictly for a 4-year university. And you have to show a good GPA, good academic record, demonstrate leadership ability, and exceptional personal success skills. All right, next screen. Here are some College Depot scholarships that you may or may not be interested in. The Central Intelligence Agency has an undergraduate scholarship program worth more than $18,000 per year, or if you're studying in a STEM field, up to $25,000 a year. This is a really interesting opportunity. You have to have some financial need, but your family income can be as high as $120,000 a year. By September 15th of this year, you have to be 18 and you have to be accepted at a 4-year college or university. 3.0 GPA and ability to meet the minimum requirements, including a background investigation. But you would start working for the CIA during the summer, which also, if you think about it, would begin your service for the government. And in terms of government service, your time starts then. So you'd be able to retire earlier if you start earlier. Something to think about. All right, next screen. There's the IME Becas Scholarship. This is for students who are dreamers or undocumented. You have to live in Arizona at the time of the application, must be of Mexican nationality or heritage, demonstrate financial need, have a 3.0 GPA, and those of you who are undocumented will not be able to fill out the FAFSA. So if you aren't able to complete that form, that helps you qualify for this scholarship. This award is for up to $2,000, and the deadline is coming up in September 20th. Okay, next screen. There's a huge scholarship for those of you thinking about out-of-state admissions that is for students who are high achieving but coming from low-income earning households, this is a full 4-year scholarship. It isn't just for 1 year, it's for 4 years. And the deadline is coming up on September 27th. You may or may not know if you are eligible for it, but I'd like you to at least get the name of this down. It's QuestBridge. There's something called the National College Match, where you might choose to match with up to 15 of the 50 schools that they have in their program. These are some of the top 50 schools in the country, and you have to be either a U.S. citizen and permanent resident or undocumented. If you're undocumented, you are eligible to apply to almost all of the schools. I think there's only one that disqualifies there. But you need 2 essays, short answer responses. You need 2 recommendations. So the reason I've got it, that I'm talking about it today is because we want to make sure that you are asking your recommenders way ahead of time. That means a counselor plus 2 other recommenders. Next screen. This gives you an idea of some of the schools that are partners. So if you want to see who the partner colleges are, click on College Partners once you've logged on to QuestBridge, and every year hundreds and hundreds of students become QuestBridge scholars, including students from Phoenix Union. Next screen. There's the LST Schafer Prize Association for Women in Mathematics. You just need to be an undergraduate, which means starting in your first year. You need to be a U.S. citizen or have a school address in the U.S. so you can be a dreamer. And then you need a nomination. So you got to go to your teacher, maybe your math teacher, and ask for a nomination. Letter of rec is optional. Next screen. If you are a school leader, notice that on Monday, October 2nd, the Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation deadline happens. They're giving away $20,000 to 150 students. Check it out. It's for achievements, which recognizes students for their capacity to lead and serve, as well as their commitment to making a significant impact on schools. Next screen. Now, you might say, wow, you covered a lot of information pretty fast. If you want to review this at a slower pace, all you have to do is go to the PXU class of 2024 teams, go up to where it says Files at the top there, click on Files, and then go to the Post-Secondary Advisory folder. Click there and you'll see it. It'll say Senior Advisory and today's date. So I hope everybody was able to understand what I've gone through. Some of it is going to be harder to understand because maybe you haven't applied yet, but we just want you to know what's coming. We're always going to use this time to answer questions if you have any, or to be able to know where to go for references. So if you haven't yet applied, but in another month you're getting these letters, you can always refer back to this PowerPoint and you can click on the screens I use to go over what you need to do next. Be on the lookout for acceptance letters and you'll be all set. So if you're interested in out-of-state admissions, then join us on Tuesday, same link, and Thursday we'll be covering in-state. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.